What made the popular guy/girl lose their popularity? She started a fight with another popular girl over something petty. The other popular girl, unbeknownst to us all, practiced a martial art and delivered with one hand the most beautiful, graceful punch that I have ever had the pleasure of seeing whilst pulling out a chunk of hair with the other. The other girl was suspended and skyrocketed higher than ever, while the popular girl who started the fight became little more than a laughingstock with a temporary bald spot. A popular boy cried in class during a discussion about a recent tragedy because someone that was close to him died in said tragedy. He got relentlessly bullied for the short time afterward that he was at that school. He was a good kid that didn't deserve any of that. I really hate middle school kids sometimes. Aw. That's actually so sad. Popular girl was driving drunk on the way to school and caused a pretty bad accident involving 3 other cars. She spilled liquor on herself and slammed on her brakes in a line of cars. Her car managed not to have a scratch. She swapped seats with her passenger in front of everyone before cops arrive. A few minutes later we realize she has disappeared. She had slipped into another car that had stopped to see if everyone was okay. Several people ended up getting tickets and her passenger ended up getting a DUI. She was unpopular until graduation. Who the hell agrees to swap seats with someone after they've caused an accident while drunk? That's just a series of misfortune waiting to happen. Her not as popular and not as drunk friend. From what I remember, she was a year or 2 younger. Kid made a video for a school project, which he played in front of the class. Project video ended and cut to him beating his meat. He was a freshman. He spent the remainder of HS known only as the cameraman. Was this on purpose or like an accidental film cut? Lol. From his reaction, I'm guessing it was purely accidental. The consensus was that he used an old tape and didn't check what was on it. This was early 90s. He was popular among the group of people he was associated with. I don't think he was super popular or anything. Punk/grunge kid. All his popularity went out the window when he went out the window of his car, after he crashed it into a building because he was huffing paint and speeding down the road with one of the group's popular girls. Thankfully she survived. But from what I recall, he wasn't remembered so fondly after that. This senior got suspended cause he peeped a freshman in the parking lot. Sounds like he wasn't trying hard to not get caught. He would waste it all to have a summer that he could call a memory that's full of fun. Way back when I was in school, a girl who was quite popular decided she could make fun of another kid's Down syndrome sibling in front of her friends. Well, the popular kids in my school weren't jerks, so they didn't laugh and literally turned their backs on her. She was a loner for the rest of the year and went goth the next, then moved. It wasn't funny at the time, nor is as funny now. Undefined. Also, side note, when I say no one laughed, I mean no one. It more like you could hear crickets and the girl laughing until she realized it was only her. Him and another kid from our school got busted for picking up 2 middle school girls from the local mall and taking them to a motel. He used to be the class clown and on the announcements and everything. But the dude was an untouchable from then on. I don't even remember if he graduated. He peeped a dog. Guess he couldn't find a peeping pirate. We had 2 or 3 over the 4 years get pregnant. They no longer went to all the parties with a kid to look after. 2 or 3? We had 46 girls walk across the stage pregnant at my graduation. There was a daycare practically attached to the high school, so students could go to school after having kids and just drop their kid off there during the day. One girl I know got her tubes tied at 22 after her 5th kid. Hold up, what the feep? I went to the same school as the kids of the Prime Minister of my country at the time. I didn't know the daughter too well, but apparently she went from being popular to being bullied out of the school when her dad lost the election. It was pretty sad that people starting hating on her for something she had no control over. When the kid of the leader of the goddamn country is in the school, opportunist dickheads try to suck up to them. When the name no longer has meaning, they leave them in the ditch. It's a sad cycle. Short-sighted move from those dickheads. Former prime ministers tend to stay well-connected and fairly powerful. Word got out that this kid stole from his grandparents for drug money. In my old school, that basically translated to has money, has drugs, can probably get more. Oh Speep, it's you again. From everything I've pieced together from this thread, it seems like you went to a really terrible school. This one popular girl in HS got so drunk at a party that she just started speeping herself everywhere. Some friends drove her home and she did it again in the back seat. Not easily forgotten. But it was one of those things no one would say anything about. It's just that the entire school knew by Monday afternoon. Speeped in the back seat. Speeped in the front seat. Gotta make my mind up. Which seat can I take undefined? She got pregnant and had to quit cheerleading. The football players didn't want her anymore and her popularity took a hit. Plus the other girls were very judgmental. Did I just read the Glee plotline? No, in Glee no one ever suffered long-term consequences for their mistakes. Throwing Speep in the hall on people's lockers. He threw actual Speep? Why? And how? He Speep on a paper towel in the bathroom and threw it into the hall. Not sure why. He was a troublemaker and probably on drugs and mentally ill. Her mom came to a school meeting and told everyone she suffers from mild autism. Damn, that's pretty peeped. Hope she's okay. Becoming the small fish at university. Nothing humbles you like going from a school with a class size of 300 to a university with 30,000 students. Making fun of somebody's dad when they were diagnosed with cancer. That's going to drop your approval rating somewhat. You and I went to very different schools. I can't tell if this means your school would never do that or your school is pro-cancer. Here's my story. In 5th grade we moved and I changed schools. I went from a school in the city where everyone got along and was friends to a school in the suburbs where I was introduced to popular and unpopular for the first time. As a fat, quiet kid I was quickly deemed unpopular and took my fair share of abuse. Around March or April, my teacher moved our desks around and set up islands of 4 to 5 desks around the room. Except for 2. The most popular boy in school who was a troublemaker in class. And me, who moved our desks right up next to the side of hers. I later found out she did this for 2 reasons. 1. To keep an eye on him. And 2. She felt I'd be a good influence on him. A funny thing happened. Between then and the end of school, we became best friends. And I became the second most popular kid in school. I started getting invited to birthday parties. Kids stopped being crappy to me. I got invited to play football at lunch. Girls liked me. It was amazing. Then, summer happened. We were in different classes the next year. He forgot about me. Then he moved. And everyone went back to treating me like Speep. That's my little story about losing popularity. Damn. Sorry to hear that. I also moved between 4th and 5th grade. And that transition as the new kid in an entire school of kids who have known each other for 4 school years is a really rough one. I didn't really get picked on. But I definitely became super shy when everyone else knew each other so well. He whipped his dick out during class and put it on the shoulder of the girl who was sitting in the desk in front of him. He got kicked out immediately and I believe charges pressed for pupil assault. We were a couple of weeks from graduating too. Freshman year of high school. Very popular guy who was the it kid freshman phenom WR on a nationally ranked team. We were all leaving class one day. He randomly decided it was a good idea to make fun of a very well-loved handicapped guy who was dying of his condition, some advanced form of water on the brain if I remember correctly, and even decided to punch him. This knocked the poor kid to the ground. About 10 guys immediately jumped him. A shop teacher saw it, the WR getting his happen, and let it continue for a minute before stopping things. Mr. Popular got quite messed up in that short window. Kicked off team. Expelled. Moved schools in a move that I'm guessing was a way to start over at a new school? Never heard from him again. Went from pep rally king to degenerate outcast in 5 minutes. I had a front row seat and was one of 50 who testified to the school admins. The victim passed away later that school year from his condition. You almost never heard him speak. But when he did, he was always kind and thoughtful. That's just sad. Leave a like and a comment if you liked the video. Check out more Reddit related video. I am posting them daily. Subscribe to see more Reddit content.